What's going on, people, and welcome back to another Premier League predictions. Finally, it's not too far away now. Saturday games coming. This will be for game week 13. It starts off with not much of a... You couldn't really get a much bigger game to start the game week off. 12:30, you've got Manchester City versus Liverpool. I've gone with a home team narrowly to grab 3 points in this one, but I don't think that it would be a massive upset if Liverpool can grab the 3 points, but I think City being at home, they're a bit stronger, they got a bit more depth. This fixture favours the home team more than other games would, and it's got quite a lot of goals in it as well in history, so hopefully there'll be a lot of goals, it'll be an entertaining game. I'm going with Manchester City, and I'm going to go 2-1. Burnley versus West Ham to start off the 3 o'clock kickoffs. I've gone with an away win, 3-0 West Ham. I just think that they're in form at the moment. They're confident away and at home. And against Burnley, one of the worst teams in the league, I can't see that Burnley will get anything from the game. They might score, but I think even that is a major hurdle for them to kind of goal to, excuse the pun, but to reach, because I just don't even see them getting a draw in this game. So I'm going West Ham. I'm going 3-0. Luton Town versus Crystal Palace. Luton have actually got some massive results so far in terms of draws. So they're definitely probably, out of the 3 teams that got promoted, are the ones that look like they've got the most about them. And I personally thought that it would be Burnley, but it hasn't been. So credit to Luton at the moment. I think they still will struggle. And if they do survive, it will be just by the skin of their teeth. They're at home for this one, which they have shown that their home games they can make really tricky for teams like they did against Liverpool the other week. But I have gone with Palace in this one to edge it. I'm going to go 2-1. Obviously, they got Eze back now. Elise's back as well. So I do think that they have got stronger. And I just fancy that Palace, especially with Eze, he creates a lot. And I think against Luton, I think that they'll edge this game. So I'm going to go Palace. I'm going to go 2-1. Next up, we've got another big game, I think, that I don't think people are talking about as much as obviously the City and Liverpool one, but still a massive game. And that is Newcastle versus Chelsea. At St James's Park, Newcastle can make it tough for anyone, including European teams like we saw against PSG. But they did struggle against Dortmund. So I think Newcastle, a lot at the moment, is going to come down to their injuries. Obviously, Botman's out, Burns out, Wilson's now injured. They're just not having a lot of luck with the injuries, and I think that is going to affect them. They obviously lost to Bournemouth the other week, which most people didn't see happening. And they did look like leggy, and it wasn't great. Chelsea, I think, on the opposite, are on the up at the moment. They're improving week by week. They're getting the results now. Maybe not getting as many 3 points as they'd still like, but I think it's going in the right direction now. I think you're seeing more of a style of play. Obviously, the likes of Palmer is doing fantastically. Sterling's looking like he's getting back to form. If Brozier can stay fit, I think there's going to be a massive ingredient to that team that I don't think enough people are talking about at the moment. Because Jackson, I know he got a hat-trick the other week, but they were all kind of tap-ins, and he does pick up a lot of bookings, and yeah, I like him, but I don't think he is an out-and-out striker like Brozier is. He's not natural to it, so I think if Brozier can stay fit now, he's going to add even more depth and quality to that team. So I think Chelsea could go to St James's Park and get a result. It's going to be tough, but I've actually gone with a draw in this one, 2-2. Nottingham Forest versus Brighton. Tough one to call. I think Forest are very tricky at home. They can make it difficult for any team. And Brighton struggle away from home a bit, but they also can struggle at home too. They're a hard one to predict because they have got the Europa football as well, so you're not always sure who De Zerbi is going to pick and start for league games because they have to factor in the Europa games. So it's a tough one to call. I think on their day, Brighton can beat anyone. But I have actually gone with Forest in this one. A 2-1 win at home. I think the crowd behind them, they're not going to be as fatigued as Brighton, I don't think. So I'm going to go with Forest 2-1. Sheffield United versus Bournemouth. I'm going with Bournemouth in this one. 2-1 away. Very impressed with them against Newcastle. And they deserve that win. They were the much better team, despite not having the names. And that's what's great about football. I think, as well, Solanke is another one that goes under the radar a bit. I know he doesn't score all the time, but he can go on runs, and it really benefits them. So, and another one is Billing. If Billing is in form and playing well enough, him and Solanke will do enough in certain games to get them through. And Sheffield, I just think, They don't play terrible football, but they can't defend. Their keeper lets in too many goals, and they don't have enough firepower up top. So, yeah, I think Bournemouth are a better team. It could be tricky going to Sheffield, but I think they've got enough quality still to get a result. I'm going 2-1 away to Bournemouth. Lastly, for Saturday's games, we've got Brentford versus Arsenal, which I think could be up there for game of the week, potentially. I've actually gone with a slight upset in it, and I've gone with Brentford. I'm going to go 2-1. I just think they haven't been in quality form recently, Brentford, but I don't think it's for the lack of creating chances and stuff. I just feel like they haven't been as clinical. And Arsenal, I don't think, are at the heights that they were last season, but they're still one of the better teams in the league. So I could see it being a draw. I could see Arsenal winning, and I can see Brentford winning. But I think Brentford, with the crowd behind them, how it is there and built, and just the community sense of just the closeness that club is, I think that Brentford might come up trumps in that, just off passion and emotion and equality as well. So I'm going with the upset. I'm going to go Brentford 2-1. 2 games on Sunday. 2 o'clock kickoff, we got Tottenham versus Aston Villa. Now, Tottenham are another one similar to Newcastle that have got a ton of injuries, and a lot of it in the back line, and red card bans as well. So Romero and Udogie both banned still. It's not looking great at the moment for Tottenham. See, Van der Ven is out, but they're saying that this is kind of up in the air of when he might return. He's a massive loss. Romero's still banned, which it's the risk you run with him all the time, because I think he is a quality player, but he's too emotional and he's too rash. So there's always that side of the coin with him. It's tough because I think Tottenham have been one of the better teams this season, but I think these injuries and bans will affect them. And Villa, one of the best teams on form at the moment, home and away, I think will have enough to get a result at Tottenham. I'm going to go away, and I'm going to go 2-0 to Villa. Everton versus Manchester United at 4:30 on Sunday. I'd like to think we can get something from the game, but going to Goodison, they've just had this 10-point deduction. They could possibly get more. We have to keep looking out for that. But they're joint bottom now in terms of points with Burnley, and they could potentially be on 0 points soon with the more points deductions potentially coming in. It's either going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to affect the squad too much that they're all just going to be heads down and throwing games away or can't concentrate, or they continue on what they've been doing, and that is getting wins and results in the last month or so. And with Dyche, the way he is, I would say that, and I would like to think that it will burn a fire under them even more, or light a fire under them even more, that we're up against it even more now, and we got to get these points back. And it's going to be tough. I think they're going to have weeks where they are going to fall off because of everything going off the field. But I do think that more often than not, they will make it hard for teams. And I've actually gone with Everton to win in this game. I know it's United and we're not fantastic, but I think they're just going to be really hungry for it. And not just against us, but going forward now. But because it's the first game since this has been announced, I think that they're going to be thriving at the bit, ready to go and deliver knockouts. So I'm going with Everton. I'm going 2-0. And lastly, for this game week, guys, on Monday night, 8 o'clock kickoff, we've got Fulham versus Wolves. Tough one to predict. I've actually gone with a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. But I think if I was to favourite either way, if I'm not going to pick a draw, I would edge it to Wolves. I feel like Bassey for Fulham at the centre-back position is very dodgy. Diop is out, who was a starter for them along with Ream, and I think he's a big miss at the moment. Obviously, they lost Mitrovic. They've got Jimenez in, who scored the other week, but he's just not doing it in terms of delivering numbers with goals. I just think if you're going to favour a team and you don't want to go for a draw, I think Wolves have a bit more depth and they're in better form at the moment. But at home, I think Fulham could maybe nick a point. So I'm going with 1-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if Wolves could nick it. And that is it for this week's Game Weeks, guys. Let me know your predictions in the comments. Who's your team up against and how do you fancy them? Wednesday, I'm going to be dropping my Fantasy Premier League Game Week 13, finalising what I'm going to do for this game week coming up. Differentials that are worth considering what your budget is. So look out for that on Wednesday. I've just started doing Fantasy Premier League content. If you haven't seen it already, go back and you'll see on the channel that I released my first Fantasy Premier League or FPL video the other day. And I'm looking to do many more of it. New content to the channel. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm just glad to have Premier League football coming back because I just can't stand the internationals when it's against teams that you're always going to win against, really. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. And look out for Wednesday for FPL video number 2. And then on Thursday, I'll also be doing my Manchester United preview for the Everton game. Catch you soon.